In this video, I'm going to go through 30 high performance habits that let me go from a small, skinny fat, insecure college student, former primary school teacher, to a full-time online fitness coach living in Dubai. If you implement these habits, they will transform your body, your business and your mindset, so let's go straight in. Start now with habit number 1, the 2-minute rule. Just commit to doing the first 2 minutes of any activity, whether this is going to the gym, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's doing some deep work. Always the hardest part is just getting started. And what I've found is that if I'm not feeling doing a workout, all I'll say is, look, I'm going to just do the first 2 minutes and then make a decision afterwards how I feel. And speaking of decision making, this brings me on to habit number 2, and that is this helping or hindering my progress? So for example, if you want to move the business forward, probably scrolling on TikTok or social media is not going to be helpful. If you want to lose weight, well then going to McDonald's may not be the best decision. And to keep your focus sharp, don't forget habit number 3, and that is the rule of 1, okay? Just focus on doing one single thing at a time. I used to think that I could multitask, that I could do 10 different things at once, when in reality, I was just doing 10 things very, very poorly. Focus is an acronym for follow one course until successful. So do that thing, do the important thing, and then move on to the next task. And to make sure you're getting the work done, habit number 4 is just commit to deep work every single day. So whenever you're doing deep work, block out at least 90 minutes. Deep work is something that's going to move the business or move yourself forward. So for example, let's just say you're preparing for a presentation. Block out at least 90 minutes. Phone on airplane mode, away from your desk, okay? Even put on some headphones, even put on some earphones, not checking social media, not checking anything, and just really dialed in on that one single thing. Personally, what works well for me is doing my deep work after my morning workout every single day. I will try to block out 3 or even up to 4 hours of just singularity of focus work, and in those 4 hours I will nearly get a full day's work done. However, to make sure that I'm working optimally, habit number 5, and that is getting up and going to bed at the same time every single day, has been an absolute game changer for me. Our bodies crave familiarity, and when you get up and go to bed at the same time 7 days a week, not just 5 days, okay, this will improve your hormones, this will improve your overall circadian rhythm and help you focus more. Now to support this, make sure you implement habit number 6, and that is the 10-3-2-1 sleep rule. 10 hours before bed, cut caffeine because it's got a half-life of 5 to 6 hours. 3 hours before bed, try to stop eating. 2 hours before bed, try to stop drinking. And then 1 hour before bed, stop working and ideally get off your phone. Now, getting off my phone before bedtime becomes much easier with habit number 7, and that is invest in blue light blocking glasses. I put these on personally 30 minutes before bed, and even if I am on my phone, okay, or even if the lights are on in the living room, okay, it would help suppress some blue light and help me sleep better at night. And finally, speaking of sleeping better at night, habit number 8 has been an absolute game changer for me and my client, and that is set a reverse alarm. So a reverse alarm is an alarm you set before you go to bed. Everyone has an alarm for getting up, but what I found personally is harder is actually just going to bed in time. So what I will do is I'll set an alarm anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes before bed, and this is just my reminder to get off my phone, to wind down and to relax, and to prepare for a good night's sleep. Now when I sleep more, I learn more, which means habit number 9 becomes easier, and that is read at least 10 pages of a personal development book every day. I first started out reading personal development books back in 2017. The first ever book that I read was Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. This book alone I recommend for every single person. I've read about 4 or 5 times since. It is the single greatest personal development book written in my opinion. But regardless of your choice, you become what you consume. And if you consume good content that's going to help you develop your body, develop your business, develop your mindset, that will compound over time. And while you're at it, habit number 10, reviewing your goals daily is really important. So personally in my living room here, I've got all of my goals written down on a whiteboard. I can see my goals for my business, for my fitness, for my personal goals, my social goals, and also my contribution goals. And when you review your goals daily, it helps align your actions in the right direction. And again, go back to habit number 2, that is this helping or hindering my progress? Now habit number 11, it might sound a bit woo-woo, but that is write out or say out loud these 5 identity statements which I got from Tony Robbins. Number 1 is, today I choose to be positive. Number 2, I'm grateful for all that I have. Number 3, I embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Number 4, I'm capable of achieving great things. And number 5, I take action every single day towards my goals. Action, of course, is a key part of this, but when you align your mindset every single day and you focus on what you have, not what you don't have, you focus on what's in your control, not what's outside of your control, it will help you move the needle forward and help you make progress. Now, speaking of progress, one thing that's dramatically transformed my life, and that is working out and training, which is why habit number 12, train at the same time every single day, is really important personally for me. Just like I mentioned, get up and go to bed at the same time. Try to anchor your training for a set time every single day. And if you're a high performer, generally what I recommend is you do this first thing in the morning before you get your emails, before you get your work, before you have family commitments. If you anchor out or block out that first 60 to 90 minutes for you, it will essentially help you win the day, move the needle forward, and then focus on your business or your work for family for the rest of the day. And when you do work out, let's make it automatic, which is why I love habit number 13, and that is start every workout the exact same way. Personally for me, my workout always starts with a run on the treadmill, followed by some mobility work, and then going into my main strength set, okay? That for me helps focus my mind and get me into the zone for a good productive training session. And during your workout, don't forget habit number 14, and that is the one more rep rule. Ask yourself, if someone put a gun to my face, could I have done an extra rep? I know for me personally, I'm guilty of just going through the motions and just like working out rather than training. But when I'm really in the zone, when I really focus, often there's at least 1 or 2 reps in the tank. And those last 2 reps are the ones that count the most if your goal is to build muscle. And that's why always try to push yourself at least at or close to failure. Doesn't mean you have to go balls out 10 out of 10, but you should be training within maybe 1 or 2 reps in reserve. Now, how are you meant to know how many reps you're meant to be doing every single week? That's why habit number 15, track and log your workout, is really important. What gets measured gets managed, and when you review your numbers, when you know exactly what weight you were doing last week, it will help you refine and improve, and just try to add, whether it's 1.25 kilos, an extra rep, an extra set, and to make some progress. And speaking of progress, habit number 16, that is progression beats perfection. 7 days of the week is so important. One of the biggest things that stops people from taking action with their fitness is that they think they need to be perfect. But if you just focus on making small incremental forms of progress, whether it is, look, you cannot commit to an hour workout, can you do 30 minutes? You cannot go for a 30-minute walk, well, can you go for a 15-minute walk? It might sound cringy, but literally something is always better than nothing. And speaking of consistency, habit number 17, and that is never miss twice, is so important from a mindset and a psychological standpoint. Life sometimes gets in the way, and it's okay to miss a workout every now and then, but do not allow it to happen twice in a row. It's okay to go off track for one day in your diet every now and then, but if you allow that to happen twice in a row, those negative habits can often compound. So don't break the chain, and when you do, always take that one action which will help you move the needle forward and get back on track. And speaking of going in the right direction, habit number 18, that is walk for at least 10 minutes after every single meal, has been an absolute game changer for me. Walking, on top of just burning calories, it's so good post-meal to improve your digestion. And speaking of digestion, one thing that's going to massively help is habit number 19, and that is hydrate before you caffeinate. Look, I'm all for having coffee first thing in the morning, okay? But make sure before you have your coffee, you drink at least 500 mils of water. When you wake up, you're going to be in a dehydrated state, and personally what I find is I metabolize and break down coffee more and digest it better after I've drank at least 500 mils of water. And speaking of time, and this brings me on to habit number 20, and that is set a cut-off time for eating. Usually for most people, after 8 o'clock, you're not going to be craving the carrots over the chipsticks. I'm not saying eating after 8 o'clock makes you fat by any means, but having a set window or a set time where you stop eating about 2 or 3 hours before bed is probably going to be helpful from a weight loss or a consistency standpoint. Not to mention this is going to benefit your sleep, and what I recommend to our clients is have a hard cut-off time. Once you finish your last meal, a trigger that actually helps activate this is brush your teeth and use mouthwash. Whenever I do this, I don't even think about food afterwards. I just know that I'm finished for the day and I just move on. And speaking of food, habit number 21 is one of the most important things you must do, in my opinion, for at least 30 days, and that is track your calories. If you're not assessing, you're simply guessing. And seeing as weight loss is simply governed by the amount of calories in versus calories out, how are you meant to know if you're moving in the right direction, if you're over or under consuming, if you're not tracking your calories? That is why I recommend the free app called MyFitnessPal and track for at least 30 days, and this will give you some good intuition in terms of how many calories in foods, which foods are higher and which foods are lower in calories, how many grams of protein you're meant to eat, and so on. And speaking of protein, habit number 22, have a plant and a protein every single meal, is one keystone habit we implement with our clients. Protein is going to preserve and also build muscle, and a plant is either a fruit or vegetable. They're going to be very good for your digestion, and they also will help keep you fuller for longer. If you start every meal with a plant and a protein, okay, it's going to fill up your stomach, it's going to make you feel fuller for longer and optimize your body composition and your performance. Now, with that being said, I understand you need some flexibility, which is why habit number 23, the 90-10 rule, something we recommend our clients to do, is also super powerful. 90% of your calories come from single ingredient whole foods. An apple is just an apple, there's no added ingredients, with the other 10% coming from more discretionary or processed foods. This way then it essentially means there's no food out of boundaries, but it doesn't mean boundaries don't exist. And to make healthier choices easier, habit number 24, that is optimize your food environment, is so important. If a food is in your house, sooner or later it's going to be eaten. So if you're like me and granola or cereal is your weakness, you could just say that you're not going to eat it, or you could simply not buy it in the first place and make yourself walk or drive to the shop if you really want it. Now this also works in the opposite direction, because if you want to eat healthier, okay, make it easier every single day to consume healthier food. So whether that's having more protein in your immediate environment, putting some fruit on the table, okay, make the decision you want to make easier by optimizing your environment. Now to make this effort for this, habit number 25, the snack audit route is so important. Often when people come to us, they're actually overfed but undernourished. They might only have 1 or 2 meals a day, but then they're snacking on just garbage basically and grazing throughout the day. So rather than grazing on things like chocolates and biscuits and accumulating a ton of calories, focus and audit your snacks so you're only having either a source of protein or a piece of fruit. And to reduce decision fatigue, habit number 26, that is use a 3x3 rule, is really effective. A lot of people focus on variety when it comes to nutrition, but in my opinion, consistency is more important initially. So therefore, if you have 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches and 3 dinners, you can pick and choose from. That's going to give you about 40 grams of protein and some fiber. Just diet in those. Decision fatigue is a real thing, and if you have some go-to meals that you can just make very quickly, it's going to help you optimize your body composition and make some improvements. And when you think about it, most people eat the same 5 or 10 meals every single day. So one of the easiest ways to improve your body composition is analyze your 5 to 10 meals. Is there 40 grams of protein in this? Is there the right amount of calories in this? Am I getting a plant and a protein at it? And if your answer is no to any of those, optimize them so that they do. Now, when you implement all of this, habit number 27 becomes more rewarding, and that is daily weigh-ins and take weekly progress pictures. One of my biggest regrets is not taking enough progress pictures at the start, but no matter where you are in your journey, document it. Because when you do, it's so rewarding seeing how far you've come rather than how far you have to go. On top of this, weighing yourself every single morning, but increase your awareness in terms of whether you're moving in the right or the wrong direction. And don't forget at the end of the day, habit number 28, and that is your end of day checklist. So at the end of every single day, what I will do is I'll write down what are my top 3 biggest wins for the day. Then I'll also write down what areas I can improve on and what's one thing I can change for tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, habit number 29, and that is plan tomorrow today and create a daily power list, is one of the best things you can do. Planning tomorrow today will help give you certainty that you're in control of your time, and creating a power list is essentially 3 to 5 critical tasks that's going to help you move the business, move your body, and move your mindset forward. So for example, in relation to fitness, it could be you walk 8,000 steps a day, you work out for 45 minutes in the morning before work, and you follow the 90-10 rule with your nutrition. At the end of every single day, ask yourself, did you accomplish what was on the power list? If you did, put a W for a win. If you didn't, put an L for a loss. And because progress is so addictive, if you win 4 out of 7 days, you win the week. If you win enough weeks, you win the month. And if you win enough months, you will not recognize yourself 1 year on from now. And finally, habit number 13, that is create a weekly planner. Every single Sunday morning, I sit down and reflect on the week gone by, and I ask myself, how would I rate the week on a scale of 1 to 10? What are some of the key tasks I want to get done this week? And then I will block them out day by day, which days I'm doing certain tasks. When you create this clarity, it will give your mind something to focus on, and again, it would help you make sure you're moving in the right direction towards you and your individual goals. And there we have it. They are all 30 high performance habits. Remember, if you're watching this video, you don't need to do all 30 at once, okay? Commit to at least doing 1 and then gradually build on this. But when you do this consistently, I promise you, it will change your body, your business and your mindset. And if you like seeing more content like this, make sure you subscribe. If you want a list of all 30 habits that I've created in a PDF document, just comment habits below and I'll send it over to you. And until then, we'll see you in the next video.